yesterday. And then I think we're gonna head back up north and catch some more fish that I found. So hopefully, let's see what we can do. Flip.
This is so quasi-dramatic too with the music, but my gosh, this seems like it took 20 minutes to bring in.
Oh my god, it's a giant.
Come up this way.
It doesn't matter right now. Oh my god! Get his head around. It's terrible. Oh, this is what dreams are made of. Oh my god, 2 feet away. Yes!
Yeah, that thing was a brick. I found that spot at, I don't know, I think it was 2 o'clock, 1:30 the day before, and I caught 2 fish out of there, about 6 pounds, on back-to-back casts, because I didn't think I would have caught 2 on back-to-back casts. I caught 24 pounds for 4 fish off that spot that tournament.
That's 7.
Well, and now we're here. We're, I don't know, I think I'm 4 weeks into my COVID isolation. It's not that much, not that fun. But we're still doing this. I'm getting a great, what do you call it? Feedback on these podcasts. I'm having a lot of fun doing them. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. These are turning into not what I intended Matt Pizzetta Presents to be, but that's great. I'm looking forward to today's show here. I apologize. We've had a ton of problems. Hey, Jamie, how's it going? We've had a ton of problems in the last, 4 days, whether it was trying to put together a video for Daaron, which I am not done yet, or my audio the last 2 days. I was on the phone with Darren Azumi yesterday, and we kind of worked through all the bugs on it to make sure I could bring video to you now on this streaming service. I had no idea how to do it before, but now we are going to be trying to do something different. So I'm excited. Last program with Derek Strube was great. He's talked about coming back and doing some more, which I think would be amazing. Derek's a great guy, and I believe he wants to bring a friend. Oh, there we go. Now let's try to do something here, and you guys are going to have to yell at me for the sound. I can hear you. Darren, you there?
There we are.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I'm here.
How you doing?
What's happening?
Oh, you know.
Good, you?
You can hear me all right? I just went over all those problems that I had with you on the phones 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. No, I can hear you great.
Okay, perfect. And
You probably can... There we go, that's probably a little better.
drone fishing, that's the ticket. God, we got a lot of people in here. I was playing some of my Canadian Open footage there where we caught that 7-pounder. And I really want to go fishing right now. How about you?
Oh, I wake up looking at the lake every morning, so yeah, I definitely want to go fishing.
Right, so, okay, you wake up, you look at the lake, you're this passionate guy that's been fishing for, how many years have you been fishing? Longer than I've been old?
When did I start fishing?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, probably, 4, 5, 6 years old at Featherstone Point, which is on Lake Erie.
Right down the road there.
At my grandparents' cottage.
Well, what you're not doing right now is fishing. Where the heck are you, Darren?
Where am I right now?
Where are you right now?
I'm actually just got off the clock at 8 o'clock, and we're at the Country Chip Wagon in Dunnville.
What the hell are you doing at a chip wagon, Darren?
Sorry?
What are you doing at a chip wagon?
We're frying stuff. Me and my partner Mandy, I guess took a bit of a risk a few months ago now, and we opened the chip wagon on April 1st, so we're basically just over 2 weeks into this thing, and we came in green as grass. We never ever thought we'd do anything like this, and yeah, we're running a little business here in Dunnville on Highway 3 at the Y of Highway 17 and Highway 3, just maybe a mile west of the Muddy the Catfish, the big catfish in Dunnville, if anybody knows that, as a tourist landmark. And yeah, we're on a major highway here, and we're just blessed to be open right now.
I know I'm getting a lot of my audio is off this time. I know I've been having problems with that, so I apologize. Let me know if it's so bad if we need to cut and rework it later. But I'm trying here. Bear with me, guys. So Darren, when we met, what did we meet? Like 6 years ago, 7 years ago? I think so. You were painting houses. How does painting houses leave you qualified to make French fries?
To be honest, I can't wait to paint houses right now. Yeah, this is basically 23 years ago I started my own business, kind of right out of college, and it worked into doing a little bit of renos, kind of self-taught, had lots of good teachers, and yeah, I've been doing that for 23 years, and then about 4 years ago I met Mandy, and she worked for an accounting firm down in Stony Creek, and this came up, and how I ended up doing this is kind of a part-time gig for me right now, I think. We're just kind of getting it set up together and learning the business. The old owners have been really, the previous owners have been really helpful, and they established, I think they've been here about what, Randy, 10 years here? Yeah, about 10 years here, and they put their pride and joy in this place, and it, we just want to continue to put good food out, but yeah, I'm not really sure how I got here, Matt.
Well,
one night we were. What's that?
Well, I went down last Saturday there. I'd like to first say, can I finally announce that a new venture with our fishing line, and or at least title sponsor is now the Country Chip Wagon, Dunnville, Ontario. We're going to be wearing the black because bagpies wear black, don't we?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah.
So I came down there last Saturday. It was before the Easter weekend there. I got a little bit of a taste of what you do there with just the fries. I can't believe how much goes into making French fries. You're there at 7 in the morning punching. How many pounds of potatoes do you go through in a day?
Average, we probably go through. Brandy, you probably know better. On average, how many pounds of potatoes we go through a day?
In a day? Probably over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
That's about
Four bags. Yeah, about 4 bags.
On a regular day.
Yeah.
But the day was 6 to 8.
Yeah. To give you an idea, last Good Friday, we served about 81. I think it was 81 perch dinners.
80. How many pieces of perch? That's 5 pieces of perch per order.
It's half a pound of perch, depending on the size of the fillets. Say 4 fillets if they're big, 5 if they're a little smaller, and big heaping tray of fries and some coleslaw and tartar, and a slice of lemon. But yeah, that was Good Friday. A lot of people like to eat fish on Fridays, on Good Friday especially, and we did really well that day. We also serve haddock and pollock, and now I'm a big wing nut, and so we've started with advertising wings this week, and I got a good supplier of some big wings, and I went and picked up, I think, was it 40. Just shy of 200 pounds of wings today for the weekend, and see how long they last. But they've been going out pretty good too.
That's awesome. So when I was down there, I stimulated the local economy there. So I ordered what did I have? The perch dinner. I had a burger. I had the zingers, and the zingers are nothing I've heard before till you told me about them. And it's just breaded chicken breast done like a chicken wing. It was delicious. That's something that they've got there. That's something they've had there for
a while.
But
a lot of different places.
Yeah, what changes have you brought to this fine established business? I believe it won Ontario's Best Chip Wagon in 2015, which is incredibly impressive. Have you decided to add any Joyner flair, as I call it, to the Chip Wagon?
We're slowly, like I said, we're only a little over 2 weeks in, and Joanne and Tom, built this place with pride, and there's not a whole lot we want to change as far as the menu. The menu's pretty extensive, but I wouldn't mind having maybe a nice spin on a specialty burger. We make some homemade brownies for a Sunday in the ice cream parlor as well, and so the brownie is a heated a nice warmed up brownie with some Chapman's ice cream on top with whatever sauce you want, whipped cream and a cherry. And that Silas, my dog, he developed that one. And it's called the Silas Supreme.
And I hear it.
But yeah, like it's gonna be once the weather heats up, I think. But yeah, what I want to do, Matt, is I have have a big love for this area. I always have, between my grandparents at Featherstone Point and Lowbanks, where we have a little home there, me and Mandy, and I want to promote Haldeman and Dunville. We've only been out here about, when did we buy the place on the lake, huh? Yeah, in 17 we bought a little fixer-upper on the lake in Lowbanks, and we didn't actually have plans of staying, but the neighbors are amazing, and we're actually missing a few of our American neighbors right now. But I want to promote Dunville and the area. We went into this on April 1st, and no one expected the COVID to be what it is, and we're just, we can't have the picnic, the covered eating area open right now. We don't have washrooms right now, things like that. We're just kind of making do, but once it opens up and the parks get open and the tourists end up coming back into town, and the social distancing isn't a deal, then Dunville's a pretty special place. At least I think it is.
So let me just cut you off there when we're talking about this whole COVID thing. First, I'd like to say it looks like that I'm going to be doing a kind of a special edition, COVID edition of Matt Pizzetta Presents on Sunday. I'm going to have someone from, I'm going to have a nurse on, I'm going to have a police officer on, and then I'm going to bring on the guys from Soldier Fishing. We're going to have a little debate on whether or not fishing should be allowed. So this is a very hot topic right now.
Good.
So it's
absolutely.
Hey Kazoo. So I think that's going to be good, but that's going to be kind of a special edition there. But one thing I noticed when I was at the Chip Wagon there, your first customer was a senior couple. Actually, I believe there was a third person in the van as well. And how you've staged it is there's only one person on the ordering platform at a time, and then they go back to their vehicle once they've ordered, and then they get a phone call to come and pick up their meal. So it was very, very well organized. When I purchased my food, I wasn't around anybody. You handed the food out the window, shut the window, grabbed the food, you were gone. It was amazing. You guys are doing a great job. The thing that kind of fires me up about the people, my mom says hi, Darren. The thing that fires me up.
Hi, dear.
The thing that fires me up, though, is these people questioning online of whether or not you should be open. And I just want to say that first customer that was there on Saturday night, Saturday morning, I mean, they said that they were elderly, I said before, but they could not get in the grocery store, so they were coming to you to get their food. And
yes,
you've made points of that before. You've made a post about this isn't how we're supposed to be living, lined up 50 deep trying to get in the door of a grocery store. Some people can't stand that long, so you are just a way for people to get their food, and you're doing it very responsibly on these things. So that's my
take. We have a lot of space here. I don't feel that any customers, since April 1st have felt unsafe. We're doing the best we can, and we're, like I said, we're blessed to be open. We do suggest call-in orders, obviously. Yep. We find that we have an order platform or an order deck. It's basically a deck outside the wagon that raises you up to the window, and we have a sign out front. Social distancing saves lives, and Mandy's great at the till there, and make sure that it's one customer at a time, and there's hand sanitizer out there, and we're just trying to do our best. And I feel for everybody's having a hard time with this, and I hope it goes away as fast as it showed up. I don't know if that's the case, but I feel some days I feel a little guilty that we are open and some restaurants aren't, like and businesses in general aren't. Like I got my contracting business, I've got, my suppliers that they've got, 10 vans sitting in the parking lot that aren't moving right now, and it's something we've never dealt with before, and me and Mandy and the staff are doing we're limiting our staff to 4 or 5 people at a time. There's been days like Good Friday we could have had more people in here, but but we didn't. And the customers have been great. They, we're doing delivery. We're skipping the tip option on the debit machine so that they, customers can just tap. You can e-transfer if you want. I've done a bunch of deliveries, so we're doing what we can.
No, that's great, and I seen those efforts put forward right away when I was there. So you guys are doing a great job. But yeah, so what? It's not really trophy season yet out on Erie, but I know you wake up and look at it, and you've been fishing out here for what'd you say, 30 years, 35 years?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
What have you noticed that's changed the most in over that time here?
Well, obviously, definitely the gobies, and every small angler out here, and all over Ontario, they know that made a huge change. But I can tell you right now, what's a big change is all these storms in the high water, and I know a lot of the shoreline's going to be different this year. Looking for those. The first thing I'm going to do as soon as I get a chance to get away and get out on the lake is to go check those old spots, see where the boulders have moved to, and things like that, because there's going to be some changes there for sure. The fish, I think, pattern a little differently now because of their eating habits. So, like, years ago, I always used to like fishing fast, burning blades, and things like that up a little shallower, and now I've adjusted to the post spawn. Little of the post spawn stuff is a bit shallow, but once that's over with, it's basically all deep for me, and fishing slow.
Right. So one thing that we've talked about a lot in the boat when we've been out, especially, is what one of your pastimes used to be is scuba diving. You got any stories?
Yes, I haven't.
You can tell us that you've seen down there scuba diving, because I'm scared of water. For those of you that don't know this, I'm deathly afraid of water. I'm a great swimmer. I was bronze, whatever. Mom, what level did I get to in swimming? She'll tell me, and I'll let you know. I'm a good swimmer. Just it scares me. I like going tubing, like wakeboarding, but throw me in the middle of Erie and I got to swim. I'm very, very uncomfortable. What have you?
Yeah, I haven't done it in a few years. I know I've got a lot of stuff, graphed and GPS. I mentioned boulders. It taught me a lot, and it actually, between finding not just finding structure and ledges, and I know where there's a really cool anchor out there that I don't think a lot of people know about. They're little boats. There's one that I knew where it was, and I actually seen it with my flogger last year. And so it was still there when we had a nice week of calm, clear weather last year, and the lake cleared up really good. You could see about 28 to 32 feet down, and I flogged for 2 days straight.
By the way, for those of you who don't know what a flogger is, don't Google flogger, Google underwater viewing device. You'll thank me later.
Oh. Yeah, right. But scuba diving, that being down there and with the graphs and the technology out there, like, it's pretty amazing what you can find without being down there now. But what scuba diving taught me the most, I think, is the fish behavior and how they relate to certain things. What side of a say a reef or an underwater structure or an underwater elongated point, what side of the the structure they relate to when, on a certain wind. And the number one thing that I learned was that these fish move up and down in the water column a lot, especially offshore. And for example, I would swim. Say for example, off of Point Abino, I'd be swimming in 35 feet of water along the west side edge, and there'd be fish everywhere. And I'd swim out to the point. I'd swim out to the point, let's say, to where I wanted to turn around to get back, as far as how much, depending on how much air I had. And, I turned around and worked my way back towards the boat, and all of a sudden the fish would be gone, and I'd be like, where the heck did they go? And then all of a sudden I'd look up, and they were all suspended in 30 feet of water. And so what triggers that, I don't know. But that's how that's how I started throwing blades a lot in deep water.
You made a post earlier, actually,
and
Sean made a post earlier in the week, and he was talking about the waves. He said Erie was rough, and you said, Sean, this is when I like to throw blades. And a lot of people thought you were joking,
right.
But no, you throw blades, and pretty much, like the first year we fished the B1, that was what, like 6-8 footers, and you were out there throwing spinnerbait.
Yeah. Yep. Turn your back against the wind and make those long casts with 3/4 ounce to an ounce. Launch it as far as you can, and I use the big numbered 4 blades and burn it back to the boat, and it pulsates through the waves. You can feel it. And those smallies will get in that rough water. They'll get right up out of 25 feet of water. They'll come right up and ride the waves, and they'll smack a blade and right in the middle of a wave. And waves being 3-4 footers at some days. Like
it's crazy.
Like rough water. Yeah, rough water. But they're only there for a while. Whoop! They're only there for a while. Like you got to pick your time, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you throw a blade all day, you're probably only going to get, on most days, you're probably only going to get maybe 10 bites. But, usually those 5 out of those 10 are the good ones, the ones that you wanted, right?
Yeah.
But it's it's kind of like musky fishing. You got a lot of casts for a few fish, so.
We just got a question here from our buddy Zimmer. Now, since you're a small business owner, Daaron, and you've been in the sponsorship game for quite a while, I'll ask you, and we can kind of tag team this. How do you think some of the fishing companies / big names are handling this crisis or restrictions on fishing? Do you think that companies should be promoting fishing outdoors at this time?
Should be, sorry, I missed that. Should be what?
Promoting fishing and outdoors at this time. Us as anglers and companies as companies. That's a great question, Tyler. Zimmer, do you still have a man bun going on, by the way? I'll start this off here. You're going to hear a lot about this on Sunday with the Soldier guys that I got coming on, but I don't think that it's wrong to promote the outdoors and whatnot. That's what we're doing here, and if you go and look at the calendar, we still don't have any open seasons outside of like perch and pike in Zone 17. So we're not really doing anything abnormal right this week yet for the fishing season. So why shouldn't it be just how we treat every snowy day in April, right? And the man bun is still there. But companies, it's a lot. One thing I've noticed a lot, especially on the social medias, is there are companies that are actually out promoting you to go self-isolate while fishing, and that's the side that I'm on right now, because I'm most healthy when I'm in a boat, especially by myself. It's cheaper than therapy. It's easier on your body than alcohol poisoning, so I really think that fishing is a good thing for people. Do we have to worry about the seasons yet? I don't think so because we're not into them. Darren, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's to go fishing, to be able to go fishing by yourself, along a riverbank somewhere, for example, along the Grand River. Driving your vehicle and pulling over and on a private piece of property by yourself to go fishing is, I can't see a problem with that. But I don't make the rules, so I don't know. I can understand if the ramps were were clogged up and parking lots, but you can kind of social distance yourself from people there as well. So I don't. I think generally they got to kind of make it standard across the board. So, and that would include the sport that we love right now. And I think the quicker that we do all these, follow all these rules, I think the quicker we'll probably get back to normal. But yeah, it's tough. Like looking at boat ramps and seeing chains across them, and the river empty, and the fish are getting a big rest. I know that.
Imagine if we're not allowed on the water until like the 15th of July. Like it that positive fishing time will swing through into August for sure. Like these fish are going an extra 2-3. Actually, even in the U.S. side right now, they're not looking at baits like they typically would be. So it's hey Jamie, it's yeah. It's weird. It's weird. I'm kind of looking at the positive in all this, and I think that's what you got to do in times like this. So, like, the fish are going to get a big rest. I'll give you an example. Like, we talk about the climate a lot lately, right? And you see some articles about the climate and how the air pollution is much better since the countries have shut down and things like that. But what can you see now off your porch?
I will tell that's what I was just gonna say, Matt. Like I can't believe it. The other night late afternoon I was at the lake and I was standing on my porch. I walked out to the road and we could see a few sticks sticking up and way down the east end, and a few years ago Mike Walker used to own Hippos and Mohawk Marine there. We seen Point Avenue Lighthouse for the first time. This was I think 2 years ago, and there's no more nanny coke. There's I maybe a bunch. He knew more about it than I did because he's a very educated guy. He was like, that's the atmosphere's clear. We couldn't see Point Avenue before. We couldn't see the lighthouse from Lowbanks. So we stood there and talked about that, a couple of years ago. But this week, I can see the wind turbines in Buffalo from my front porch for the first time ever. I've never seen them before.
That's a long way. That's, 62 kilometers, I think?
I don't even know. It's a long way. Like, first it started looking east. You could see, it was a big deal to see the lighthouse. Oh, good. Oh, jeez. That's Sean McLaughlin's work from this morning.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's kind of a neat thing, right? Like, just to shut down it makes you kind of wonder. Wow. So, I thought about the fishing, right? Like, the perch aren't getting touched out there right now as much as they used to, or like in any other spring. I feel for the, but at the same time, I'm feeling for the guides out there that rely on this for, rely on fishing for, for their income, and I don't know. It's just it's a sad situation right now. We just gotta bust through it. But like I said, I'm thinking positive, and the fish are going to be nice and rested when we get to them. And
So I got a question.
and the air's a little bit.
What are you doing in the meantime to keep your game sharp? Like, if we got to sit down and hunker down and not fish until Canada Day, what are you going to be doing? Anything to make yourself a better angler?
No, myself, no.
You don't even have.
I haven't even turned the TV. No, I got to get them back in, and my boat's still in storage. I never took it. I haven't taken it out of storage. Like, this is a new adventure with me and Mandy here. I haven't turned. We turned the TV on for the first time in 2 weeks on Monday when we had a day off because of the bad weather, and we wanted our staff to have a rest and things like that. So, I haven't had any. And there's been times where I haven't fished a lot in the past, and I've been out of the tournaments for a while. And fishing's like riding a bike. I think you never really forget. And those fish, they might change. They might change a bit from now and again. They will change somewhat, but things stay the same. The bottom stays the same normally, and their patterns kind of stay the same. So you get right back out there, and you're right back where you were when you left off.
What you were doing. So,
yeah.
If we look at major events in the last 20 years, in air quotes, you've won 2 of them. What's something that you've done? Like, was there a similar theme to both wins? Like, were you fishing deep? Were you fishing shallow? Was it a bait thing? Was it like what have you done out there to be so successful?
Nothing really, other than spending time. There's lots of great anglers out there that a lot of great anglers that I look up to that I want to be as good as, and you have to, if you don't spend the time, you're not going to be successful in the competitive deal. So, but usually, when you spent the time, and it's all about confidence, right? So, when me and my friend Mike Watson won 1 years ago, CFT out of Chip Wagon, we knew going in that we were going to do well that day, and we did. And Mike and his wife Sue are good friends of mine, and they're out there every day, and they're one of the best smallie anglers, smallie team that I know of, and it's because of time on the water and the passion and the effort and the work you put into it, right? So if you can't do that, you kind of got to make a decision on whether you want to just fish for fun, or fish competitively and be competitive with everybody else, because man, oh man, there's a lot of good anglers out there, like a lot.
So you've spent a lot of time on Erie, like you grew up out there. I managed to drag your ass out to Simcoe last year for a tournament, and we did pretty well. What are some? What are some of the differences?
I got a new love for that place.
What are some of the differences you noticed between where you grew up on Lake Erie and what you've seen on Lake Simcoe there? We had an excellent arraignment of days on Simcoe there. Remember in practice how it was really flat calm half the time and then windy as hell the other time, and then the tournament was just a gong show with wind. And that's kind of Simcoe. Great one day, not great the next.
Or any big body of water. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right with that. What are the differences in the fishing style and maybe kind of the structure that we looked at between Erie and Simcoe?
It's totally different. They're not. There's not a whole a lot that is alike. I'm totally new up there. You basically educated me on that body of water, and I grew to love it real quick. Basically, sight fishing, man. Like that's what we did, right? Like, you know, spend time with your flogger and, you know, driving around and looking for that little piece of structure, whether it's just, it could be a boulder the size of a garbage can that, you know, that holds a fish. Like, but I fell in love with Simcoe. It's kind of neat trying to get
But when you say
trying to get those things that
well, that's what we did on Simcoe. We were using our eyes and we were idling around and literally marking those fish with our eyes and then on the graph. That was the same thing we were doing on Erie, but we were just using a graph and it was 40 feet deeper.
That's right. It was more graph related than sight. Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yep. But the one difference, Matt, is the fish on Erie I can get to bite a lot easier than the fish on Simcoe. Like, there's you know, post spawn fish out here last year, out of my place, I guess, and in the surrounding area. You see a fish, it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long for me to figure out what they're gonna hit. Right. Like, and I can see them, and you can back off of them, and go in at them, and you know, I'm talking post spawn, not bed. It's not bed fish. It's after they were done and ready to move back out. But you know, I would mark them. I would, you know, visually see them, whether it was on with the flogger or my mask or the graph, and you know, I would go back an hour later and they would be in the same area, and you know, when they see the boat, you can still entice them to, you know, to take. But those some of those Simcoe fish, my goodness, I don't even know if they had a mouth. Like, I don't know. I gotta spend more time up there figuring them out. But we didn't do too bad. Like, you know, we didn't do bad. But there's little things that
on the second day, and I think we ran it out in sixth. But we were. How far were we at? We needed a 2.9 pound fish to come in second place, and that's not. We didn't need an additional 2.9. We needed one fish that was 2.9 to call out our squeaker that we got right at the end of the day, and that's tight.
Right, and we sat and looked at those fish.
We looked at 5 pounders all day
for quite a while. Yeah, and that's the frustrating part. But you know, if that was Erie. You know, I'd have the confidence that I could get them to bite, but those creatures up there are a little different, and you know, I think it's just time spent on the water and figuring out what they like, and you know, once they see you up there, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but once they seen you were done. Like, you'd have to back off and go back at them another, you know, an hour later or something, but.
So that was so we've all done team tournaments there. Have you, like, do you have any idea of how a team tournament would benefit in an area like that opposed to an individual event or a Pro-Am?
Sorry, say that again, you broke up.
So when you're in a team tournament, is there a benefit of fishing 2 guys to a boat opposed to a Pro-Am or an individual event when getting finicky fish?
Well, probably like a pro. I've never fished a Pro-Am, so I'm not sure. But I presume the guy at the front of the boat's going to get, you know, going to have a little bit of an advantage. No.
Well, didn't we decide after that event on Simcoe that both guys should be fishing out of the front of the boat?
Oh, totally, 100%. In a team event, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So there. Yeah, that answers their question. Yeah, for sure. Yep. No, it's yeah, you got to work together and stay up front, especially when you're hunting them like that, and yeah, definitely, yeah.
What's one big thing that you've learned in the last couple of years? You were kind of out of the scene there when you were raising Hunter. Then you've kind of come back with a fury the last few years in events. What's something that you've picked up recently that's really helped you out in the tournament realm of things?
I can't really say one thing, just time spent on the water. Like, I've learned just, and I think that's why I'm adamant about the time on the water. Like, me and Mandy, I've always loved low banks. We used to come there and rent a cottage now and again, and back in high school, and things have changed. There's not near the anglers out there now, but I've always loved that area. Between Port Colborne and Dunnville, and since we actually, there's a big difference living on the lake than even going, from Smithville to the lake. I've spent more time on the water in the last 4 years on Erie than I have in the previous 4, just because it's out my front door.
Right.
And whether it be in the kayak, and I've found, again, time spent. I found more structure last year. That I've got structure out there that I found that I haven't even dropped a line on yet, that I just can't wait to go see what's there. I know there's fish there because I flogged it, and I know that there's fish there, and quality fish, but I haven't dropped a line on these spots. So it's just time spent, and I guess that would be the only big change. I haven't. And fishing slower, like I said earlier, in the call here, is that, I fish a lot slower now, and, when you're fishing fast, you're only fishing for a group of fish that are feeding fast.
So you said that
it's
you
like
shot 3/4 ounce spinner baits in 6-footers to catch fish, but now you're saying you're a slow fisherman?
Yeah, that was before. Now I'm a drop shot, Ned rig, like, just letting it sit there, right? And those fish an active fish and a hungry fish will hit something that's sitting there in front of you, in front of them a lot. Like, fishing fast, you only are fishing and catching, putting the aggressive fish in the boat. The other fish that aren't in that type of mood are not going to take. But yet, if you had a drop shot out there or something a little bit slower, you're fishing for more moods, let's say. Right. So depending on the fish's mood, right? So when you fish slow, I think you're gonna. It's a little more painful fishing slow, because I enjoy doing something.
Yep.
But you're going to get more bites, and you're going to get quality bites if you have the patience to fish slower, like, for sure. So, back to the spinner baits. You throw a spinner, chuck blades all day. You might get 10 bites all day, but they're going to be out of those. They're going to be good bites, enough to put 5 in the box that are usually probably pretty good. But you're going to have a window of an hour, and it'll be bang, 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 bang. And then, you move off the drift or whatever, you go over and another 15 minutes, bang, 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 and then that's it for another 3 hours. And, and then I used to start moving off my line and start moving around. Well, I go back to the same line, and, 3 hours later, I get another bang, bang, 2 bites. So it's because those fish came off the bottom and they got into it. They got into a mood where they wanted to eat something. And chase something, right?
Yep.
But I really enjoy fishing the slow stuff now, and I'm really liking sight fishing a little bit shallower now, and kind of just, I think Simcoe kind of had a bit of made me adapt and want to fish that way. Looking at those big fish in Simcoe and go, man, it's almost like trying to get a turkey to come to you. You got a tom gobbling in the next block, and you he's there because you can hear him, and you're trying to get him to come, and you're switching stuff up, and you're trying to, and that's the hunt of it all, right? Like, I gotta convince that thing to bite or come to me. So I'm liking that a lot more than just throwing baits into water that you can't see anything, right?
Yeah. Now you've we've talked about kind of what you've done bass fishing there, but you've had a semi-successful walleye career out on Erie as well. How did you stumble on that? Because it's a completely different way of fishing than what bass fishing is.
I think that was, I don't know, it's a bit of a luck thing. Bass doesn't open here till late, so you're fishing, you know, you get to fish for something else for a few months or whatever, right? And being close to the lake here, and I got a bunch of friends that are really good walleye guys, and yeah, so I think we ended up second one year in the 444 out of Port Colborne with a good group of guys, and ended up on a good pattern, basically ledge fishing and real shallow, doing something a little bit outside the box. Now a lot of guys are doing it. But yeah, fishing shallow and fishing all year shallow. So, and I think that had a lot to do with the gobies too.
Why are they following that?
The big. Well, there's food everywhere now, so you know you don't have to go out in the middle of the lake and you know, in the middle of the lake and chase them down. The big ones are. There's always big walleye shallow, I think. I used to see a lot of the bigger walleye shallow scuba diving years ago, and no, I think I caught one of my biggest, it was a 9.5 pound walleye in 7 feet of water behind Gull Island on a 120-degree day at about 4 in the afternoon, just off a weed bed, right? And I seen a shower of minnows, and you know, I thought it might be a smallie chasing some minnows or whatever, and you know, I started casting the crankbait, and next thing you know, I get a 9.5 pound walleye, and it was chasing, yeah. And then I actually did it again, another trip. I did the same thing, but I actually had an old worm harness in my box or in my boat, and I had a gulp leech.
You can introduce
a bunch of gulp leeches, and
we have a bunch of customers of yours that are online watching. Maybe they want to learn who's working behind that window.
Behind the window? Well, this is Brandy. Say hello, Brandy.
Hi.
She's my number one. She actually has worked for Tom and Joanne for quite a few years, and she also manages the what do you call it? The concession stand at the Dunnville Arena. It's a pretty popular place to get food to.
Right.
And then Mandy's back there, and then Chris, he's back in the corner too. He helps us out a lot too. So we're just cleaning up after hours here and changing the fryer, filtering the fryer oil and things like that. And then tomorrow morning I'll come in with Shawnee McLaughlin. He's helping me out just for a few hours every morning. And we punch some potatoes and blanch them and get everything all stocked and prepped up for opening at 11.
So we know that you can catch the snot out of them on Erie and Simcoe. Want to talk about Minnehaha and your love of throwing a jig or a Texas rig and a Sanko, and maybe the first time you were on Hunter up there?
What was that?
Minnehaha. Do you want to talk about?
I heard Minnehaha.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Your love of fishing the largemouth a little bit that one weekend a year, and maybe the first time you brought Hunter up there.
Oh yeah. It's the Minnehaha. It's a cool little event that I've done for quite a few years. So my grandparents, they had a hardware store in Smithville, and they had a place at Lake Erie, and when they retired, they bought and built a place in Port Loring, Ontario, on the Pickerel River. And I grew up there. The family left Lake Erie for a while, and I spent all my summers up there doing hay and learning the river. And the river is actually pretty cool river. It's the upper Pickle River. And it's, I think, 40 some miles of water. And yeah, so every fall, Minnehaha camp and resort up there. Ian, a good friend on my Facebook page. He's the new owner up there. Andres and Lee's owned it before him, but Ian is now doing the Minnehaha event. It's the second weekend in September every year, and it's just a good group of guys. They get together and fish for 2 days. And actually, when I was younger, and you know, you always look up to somebody, or a few guys in the whether it's in the sport you love, whether it's fishing or hockey or whatever. So in fishing, Rob Hyatt and Ray Willick were the guys that I always used to chase up there. I think Ray, I think, did have, or still does, I'm not sure, but had a place on Dollars, which is kind of on the far end of the river from Port Loring.
How far is Port Loring?
But yeah, it's
from GTA. Let's say. How far north of
it? It's I'd say 4.5 hours. 4 hours
from GTA.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it'd be 4 hours. It'd be 4 hours. If you're driving quick, you might do it a little better than that. The highways are getting better now and stuff, but yeah, it's in Port Loring, and yeah, I took up lots and lots of guys up there for that weekend, and it's been always a fun weekend, and I've only managed to win it, I think, twice. But we've always done okay, you know. I'd fish, I fish with quite a few different partners up there, but it used to be primarily a smallmouth, basically a smallmouth tournament. The river was full of smallmouth, but I remember Rob Hyatt and Ray, and Ray always used to, when he could fish with Rob, I guess there was a few years he'd fish with Rob, but they'd always come back with the big bag of largemouth, and I remember when I was younger, I was like, man, oh man, how are these guys getting these fish? And I'm doing something wrong. I got to figure out what they're doing, and yeah, so I got them figured out. I got them figured out now, and things like that. But it's kind of a neat tournament because a fellow by the name of Bob Haynes, he does really well up there too now. He's moved up there too, so he's even going to be harder to beat. But there's always been, 3 or 4 guys out of the group. It's usually 15 to 25 boats, let's say, and yeah, it's just a fun tournament. I've always enjoyed that with that one.
That's awesome. No, that's something you've always told me about it, and I've kind of gotten excited to go up and do that. We should do that on a weekend trip, especially if they've canceled all the tournaments here.
Yeah, it's a big run. Like, you can run 40 miles if you want. And actually, a cool story about Minnehaha. I think my buddy Darren Swinson's got a few pictures of it on his Facebook page. But Darren Swinson and his son Brandon went up, and you mentioned my son Hunter. I fished with him a couple years ago, and but my friend Darren and his son Brandon caught a 7-pound flat, 7-pound largemouth, and I think a 6, or just shy of 6, and it was a true 7-pound largemouth, and it was the first 7-pound largemouth I've ever seen in my life, and it was the most beautiful fish. And they caught him back-to-back casts, and yeah, I still to this day I don't even know if he realized what he caught, but I don't know if he's watching, or he'll probably end up watching this. But I was pretty excited for those two, because that was a fish of a lifetime.
Yeah, no, that's pretty amazing there. We got a question from the Peanut Gallery here from Zimmer again. What's the biggest smallmouth you've caught on Erie? Not
that big. I'm not a big fish guy. I don't know why. I can't seem to get any real whoppers.
That's why you like me so much. I can only catch one fish a day.
Yeah. Oh no, I wouldn't say that. I would say my biggest out there would be a 6 and 6.5. I don't scale fish a lot either, so I just look at them and go, yeah, that's a big one, and let them go. So I started scaling fish last year a little bit just so I can get an idea of what I was catching, but I haven't really caught. I caught one real good fish last year, just after opener.
How big was the fish you got? The photo, you're in a turquoise green shirt, like a 57 Bel Air color turquoise. That was a big fish.
No, that's only. No, that was only like a 5 and change.
Oh, only like a 5 and change.
Yeah, I'm not. No, it's 4.7, 5 pounder. That's all I want. That's the average. 4.7, 5 pounder. Those are good fish. Yep.
All right, so Zimmer says that he was there a few years ago when a guy, I think it was Drew Sokolowski, and Drew caught it. Who was his partner? The guy who works with Live Target. They caught that 9-pounder for that event in Buffalo in November. You remember that? That was gross.
Cool. That'd be a big fish. Yeah.
All right, so we.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've never, nothing anywhere near that. I've seen a bunch of good fish, but yeah, no, I've never caught anything even close to that big out there.
You know that you're going to catch your biggest fish on Simcoe, right?
I'll tell you
straight.
There's a lot bigger fish in Simcoe. I see them.
Well,
they look like
in middle of July caught an 8-pounder, 8.1. That's gross.
Yeah, that's a special place. I haven't been able to fish it much, and I appreciate you taking me up there and getting a taste of it, because man, oh man, that is one special place.
I know nothing about Simcoe. There's so much. It's such a big body of water, and the fish get so big, and they're so hard to catch. I think that's what makes them. I don't think there's a lot of fish on Simcoe though. When you compare numbers,
no.
I mean, like Erie's 4
no,
way bigger than what Simcoe is.
Right.
But
right. Yeah, but you can take again, I haven't spent a whole lot of time on Simcoe, but you can take how I cut Lake Erie up is it's basically the South Shore and the North Shore. It's a continuous line of points.
Right.
And if you take two points, and in between those 2 points, there's a lot of fish. Like, if you know the area between those 2 points and figure it out, you can catch a lot of fish. You can catch a winning. I've always said to myself, and I don't know if it's true, but I feel in my heart it's true, that you can take a point and the next point, and you fish in between those 2 points long enough, you'll figure out how to catch a winning bag of smallies on Lake Erie. Lake Simcoe, I don't know if you could. It's a totally different beast, and I don't think there's. If I might be wrong. What's a good day on Simcoe?
Like a good tournament day? 27?
Yeah, like say no, not weight-wise. I mean like numbers.
8? I don't know.
8 fish a day?
Robinson's, chime in there, or Jay Clay. What's like? We don't catch a lot of fish, do we, on Simcoe? I know if I catch 8 fish in a day, especially on a tournament, it's a great day. I'm a 5 or 6 fish kind of guy out there. What are your guys' thoughts? We'll circle back to this, Darren, but we got a question here from one of my boys out. 50. Okay, the Robinsons are catching 15 fish a day. That's double what I'm doing. They've been doing that shit a lot longer than I have. So yeah, I can fish fish.
And that makes sense to me. Like a local set of boys that know the body of water. And
Jamie, how many?
I would say that would probably.
Jamie, how many of those fish are over 3.5 pounds? Yeah, 40 in the fall. Zimmer, I caught 2 on Simcoe once. we'll circle back to this quickly because we got the delay here. But what are your thoughts on being a part of a bass club?
Sorry, what are my thoughts on?
Yeah, for beginners, for advanced, what's benefits, non-benefits?
That's a listener's question?
Yeah, for Alex Pinero down from my Hamilton.
Yes, 100%. Join a club. It's the best way to learn. I that's how I learned how to fish, and you meet guys, and I would definitely join a club for sure. Yep. And it gets if you're not a tournament angler, it gets your feet wet. You do a bunch of clubbing events, and next thing you know, you'll be hooked. But yeah, and then it gives you a chance to fish with other people too, right? Fishing with the same guy all the time, can be good if you work well as a team and you do well, but you're always learning. You never know everything. So it's good to fish with other people for sure.
Okay.
And join a club and listen to seminars and the whole bit. Yeah.
Going back to the Simcoe there, so Jay Clay and Jay, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you spend most of your time out there kind of post-summer, but he's saying 95% of the fish are over 3.5. He's saying 5 is a better target. So I would agree to that, but I don't know. It's I've had days out there where you
from what I've seen online, I don't think Jay catches much less than 27 pounds every time he goes.
Oh Christ, he's over 30 pounds half the time he's there, aren't you, Jay?
Yeah.
But again, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay. Do you spend much time there in the summer? Because the summer fishery and the fall fishery are completely different animals. Yeah, we're getting some agreements from Jamie there. Look at these girls working so hard behind you, and you're just sitting on the phone talking fishing. It must suck to be Daaron Joyner. Oh, and we've almost lost him here, folks. Okay, let's flip back. Okay, we've lost Daaron there, but that's okay. We're going to just talk a little bit about that. Yeah, Jay spends a few days there in the fall. I remember talking to you at the ramp last year, and you were saying how you only like to come out, not maybe it's a time thing, I don't know, but you come out and you spend a few type bits there. Oh, there we got Daaron back. Hey, Daaron, how are you?
Hey, you lost me.
No, that's okay. All right, so we're about into the hour mark here. You want to do a little bit of rapid fire? I give you 2 words or 2 sayings, or 2 scenarios, and you got to pick one, but you got to be as fast as possible.
Say what?
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have some fun here. This is called rapid fire. So let's give you an example: burger or hot dog?
Oh, burger, definitely.
Tube or swim bait?
Tube.
Really? Oh yeah, you know that. Jig or Texas rig?
Jig.
Boxers or briefs?
That's a funny one. Boxers.
Daaron goes commando. Cabela's or Bass Pro?
Cabela's.
Spinning or bait casting?
Oh man, I'm on the fence there.
But I tried to put the bills and everything. So
spinning.
Walleye or perch?
Nah. Perch, actually. I really enjoy perch, yeah.
Okay, eating or catching?
No, I actually enjoy catching perch. Yeah.
Simcoe or Lake Ontario?
right now, Simcoe, but I need to spend more time on Lake Ontario.
Turkey or deer?
Oh, man. That's a good one, too.
Oh.
I would say turkeys would have gotten my heart going a lot more than deer. I have gotten a few decent deer, but yeah, definitely turkey.
Cheddar or Swiss?
Swiss.
Medium light or medium heavy?
Medium light.
Netflix and chill or campfire and beer?
Campfire and beer.
Rock Island or Tecumseh Reef?
I can't say.
Oh, really? Rock Island or Tecumseh Reef? I almost killed your girlfriend on Tecumseh Reef last year. Milkshake or French fries?
Milkshake for sure.
CFT or B1?
CFT.
That's all, bud.
Thanks for chatting.
Bud, this was awesome. I can wish you nothing but the best. Introduce Mandy. Let's the world meet Mandy.
We're done cleaning now.
Yeah, she's all done cleaning.
Perfect.
So we can go home. And I'm back to the wholesale club tomorrow at 7 a.m. So.
And you're cleaning tomorrow night.
And I'm cleaning tomorrow night.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
when everyone calls in their orders to the Country Chip Wagon in Dunnville at 17 and 3, they are going to be talking to Mandy.
Mandy, myself, or Brandy. We got a good girl, Sierra and Natalie. They also help us out. Yep.
Order the zingers. Order the
Steak
zingers. They were
poutine.
good.
Steak poutine.
Steak poutine.
Big feller.
Yeah.
Steak poutine. If you're from out east or up north.
Yeah, steak poutine's a good one.
You know
But
what?
no, thanks for having me on, man.
You know what? We're gonna
fun.
come out there. We're gonna come out there with the film equipment again. I do have a little bit of a video coming out, but all of my time was dedicated to making this podcast not suck because the audio has been absolutely horrible. The video I've had problems with, so it's a gift that we got out here. I appreciate you taking the time.
No, and thank you for having us. And I want to just one last thing. I want to say a heartfelt thanks to all the customers and friends and family and everybody that's come out to support me and Mandy. We took a risk, doing this new adventure, without COVID, and we're just hoping to get through it and make a go of this and have Mandy have a little business out here. And we love the area and we want to make this happen. So thank you for everyone that's come out and supported us, and we hope we can get this going and everybody stays healthy and we can get back to a normal life.
I can't wait till I'm sitting in the Bill Dance chair in the back of that 22-foot Triton, dragging a swim bait, get my ass kicked by you. Or us sitting on my dad's deck, pre-fishing Simcoe, drinking some Mike's Hard Lemonades. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think we're all going to appreciate a lot of things after this is over.
I agree to that.
We're going to get
110%. 110%.
Thanks, buddy.
No problem. You guys get home safe. We'll talk to you real soon.
Yeah. Take care.
Yep. Bye-bye.
See you.
Well, that's Daaron Joyner there, and honestly, folks, I don't think you'll meet a better individual on the street than what that man is. I met him about 6 years ago, and what people have noticed as our age difference, one of Mandy's kids there thought that I was Darren's age and asked me where my wife and kids are, and I said, God, Vincent, you sound worse than my mother, and I hope she's still listening to that. I'd like to appreciate I appreciate everyone sitting here listening. We've had like 130 some odd people come on through this, and I appreciate every single one of you. But one thing here, we do have a thing with the COVID going on. That is a situation, whether or not that we believe it is what it is, but all I know is that there's definitely people out there dying. There are people stepping up in their jobs, the nurses, police officers, first responders, all of them. I appreciate every one of them and the jobs that they do. Those who have to go to work and not the ones that are choosing to go to work, I thank you because you are making it safer for all of us. Yeah, it's quite a time we're out there right now. I'd like to leave you with a little thing here, and I think we will all have a good laugh at this. I know I'm going to have a good laugh at it, so let's take a moment to remember the good times, because Christ, we don't know when we'll have them again. That's all for me, folks. Have a good night, y'all.